Hi, and welcome back to a video. It's been a while, and I don't really know how to make this video. This is the fourth time I'm recording it. It just never really seems to come out the way I want it, and I just keep throwing it out. I guess we'll just have to start from one end to the other, right? So, as some of you know, probably quite a few of you, and it's, pretty fucking obvious, my channel is nowhere near big enough for, being able to live off it. In the last year and a half, I made less, it's actually almost 2 years, I made less money from YouTube than I do in a month at work. And that's kind of the first thing I want to get into. The last video I made was during the first lockdown from my job. I was then back at work for the summer, and now I'm in my second lockdown, but this time it's different because we have something called mandatory overtime. As part of my salary, I am monthly being paid an extra amount in case overtime is required. They can't do it every quarter, but I can be mandated overtime. That means I have to work extra a certain amount of hours, and that's happened this quarter. So even though I'm home, I have to work more, so I don't have extra time. That's the first thing that's happened. That's kind of been messing with the whole making videos, because at the same time I had to work over the summer, and that took more time than I expected. That's the first obvious one, work always gets in the way. That's life. We all have to deal with it. Everybody has to work, and when I have spare time, I have, other things to spend time on. I have friends, I have family, I have my life. Basically, it's not a big one, but that's not all that happened. As some of you might notice, this wall isn't something kind of new, because it is a new wall. I no longer live at my apartment where I used to, also shoot my videos for obvious reasons. I am not alone. I'm not single. So I am now in a position where there's two incomes, and we bought a house. We've been looking into buying a house for a really long time, and we finally found one that fits everything, which is both good and bad, because, this wall was pretty ugly when I moved in, and now it's fixed. The floors were ugly, every wall was ugly, the ceiling was terrible. So this house, for us to be able to find a house that had everything we needed, plus basically being able to afford it, we had to look for cheaper houses. And at the same time also, most houses almost every house has something that needs to be done. But the problem is, here houses get to be very pricey very fast. So if things are done, you can't change things into how you want them. So we couldn't afford these houses that was ready. So instead, we had to buy a house that was in a structurally sound condition, which means the walls, the roof, and the windows are not broken. It means the water works, but it also means that there are flaws. Most of the plumbing is fine, the water works, but some of it is broken, like under the bathroom sink, I have to change that pipe. The shower, that's leaking. The main shut-off valve is, it's stuck. I can't move it, so I probably need to get someone to do that, because I'm not going to break that and flood the basement. So there's all these things that needs to be done. This house is good because it has a basement, it has the rooms we need, so I can have a reptile room. I actually recorded this video twice in that room, only to realize the audio is so terrible because it's an empty room, and it's not very big, and it's just a giant pile of concrete. The echo is terrible. That has to, I have to put in tiles for floors down there. I have to fix walls. It takes a lot of my time. But eventually that means I'm going to have a proper room for animals, and we can shoot the videos in there instead of this whole having to move around, which is going to be great. Then another thing happened, which also took my time. I got married. Trying to plan a wedding in a pandemic. Holy crap, that's not easy. Now, I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I'm very glad I got married. So that's kind of all the things that has happened, why I haven't made videos. And sometimes I'm just not in the headspace to make a video. That's okay, that's fine, that's what happens. A good thing happened though. My apartment was at ground level. So that means we had a small terrace. During the summer, well actually in the spring, we heard some commotion out there and we couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. I got out there and tried to figure out, and I could hear kittens. And if you might notice, there's something that's noisy down here. That's why. We found 4 kittens in our garden, and they were feral. There's no doubt about that. We had a lot of feral cats at the apartment, so that's just how it is. We called the local shelter. They came out. By the time they came out, actually, the mom just kept moving the kittens. So after the 3rd time she moved them back to our garden, I knew that we had to keep her there. So I put food out, water, that kept her there. And then we got the local shelter to come. They trapped her, picked up the kittens. Unfortunately, the youngest that died, it was actually not even hers. It was one she had actually stolen from someone else. It was much younger than the others. The others were about 4 weeks. And this one was maybe 2 weeks old. 3 of them was brought in. There's 3 kittens was brought into the shelter along with the mother. They decided that the mother couldn't be helped, and because we were already planning on moving, so we couldn't take care of her, make sure she got food and everything, even though she was outside. So they decided to euthanize her, and that's just how it is around here. That's what the shelters do. If there's nobody to take care of the cat and they can't domesticate it, then they're not going to. That's just how it is. They're not going to release it into the wild again because it's an invasive species around here anyway. And it's not really a life, to be honest. It's a terrible life. Wild cats are. It's just a terrible state. It always full of disease. The 3 kittens was then put into a foster family. One of them got sick and the veterinarian couldn't help it. In the end, they just decided it was better to just end the suffering. So 2 of them made it. Of those 2, we kept 1. We already have another cat, so we felt that we could only take 1 in more. Because 3 cats, that's just too much. So, everyone, meet James. He is what? How old are you now? 18 weeks? No, you're older. I don't remember how old he is. He's from the spring. Math, not my thing. Maybe 25. He is, well, a feral cat. Well, he's not feral anymore. He's a very clingy cat. And he has a nickname. It's called Bo. It means kinda dumb, because sometimes he's kinda dumb. He is very sweet, and he just saw a bird. So I might get some claws in a few moments because birds are fun, and there's a lot of birds in our garden. So he likes to be noisy. No, Bo, night. Okay. That's more like it. Die! Okay, here we go. As you can tell, sometimes he just doesn't give a shit. You guys deserve it. So, we've been through why the issues are as they are. Met our newest little member of the family. I figured I'd show you the reptile room. It's in a terrible condition, so, and the sound is gonna be horrible, but, you know, we'll see you downstairs. So, welcome to the basement. You can already hear the sound is kind of terrible. I'm trying to keep the camera closer to my mouth to avoid the echo. This is just the washing room, as you can tell. This is what we took over. I mean, that is a drain that belongs to Dad. But there's no saying, like, there's entire cabinet missing here. It's just, you know, it's messy. I haven't cleaned up. I mean, this thing, right now, yeah, these are mine, but it was like this when, it was like this when I came here, so it's just terrible. As you can tell, these are, this is the one you have to turn off the water, and this is just all, yeah, see, can't even move it. So that's terrible. That's new. But this is gonna be the reptile room. As you can hear, it's decorative work. This is the floor. As you can tell, it's just terrible. I don't know what to do with this. I'm probably gonna put tile on it. So, and then I have to deal with all of this Oh, this wiring here. This has to come out. It's a goes up here. It's just a TV cable, so it has to go. There's not gonna be a TV down here. You see, there's been one here. There's like 4 screws that hang up a TV probably, but they're pretty big. Like, I mean, look at this hole. Look. That's just terrible. It's like my entire, like that deep, that big. It's just insane. But it's decently sized. Like from here, you can just give you an idea. Like this is like, I think that's maybe 1 foot, and you can see it's probably, I don't know, 4 yards across, maybe 5. Where this is gonna be a wall of reptiles, this entire wall, and so is this. Probably gonna have snakes here because I want large terrariums. Of course, they're gonna be raised a bit so they're not at ground level. This wall here, it's gonna be, you know, geckos and dragons and shit. This wall is a bit difficult because here I can only have something up here because this radiator has to be out. I have to be able to turn the dial. I have to be able to control it. Here, I'm thinking about having bugs here, insects, because that's a pretty cool area to have it. This is going to be a back wall. This is where camera is going to be. This is the view you're going to have. So you're going to see all the animals the other side. And, you know, there might be some stuff, maybe some work area for me. Somewhere here I'm going to have, you know, all my tools and stuff. And then I'm going to figure out a place for a quarantine area. Because that, of course, can't be in here. That has to be somewhere else. That's just how that is. Yeah, so that's the room. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. Oh, and just one last thing. It's just a bit of an update for you guys. If you've been to the community tab, you've seen that I have a snake, my Brazilian rainbow boa. He is currently a bit sick. He has, what's it called, a respiratory infection. I just have to remember the English word there. And he's currently being medicated. We've been to the vet. It's going fine so far, so I'm expecting him to recover. It's pretty simple right now. No real big updates. I'll probably do a quick video or so, at least some kind of community tab update about him. So stay tuned for that. Probably in a week or 2 he should be fine. And that's it. I'm gonna probably have a new video out within a week or 2. I have one planned. I'm looking forward to making it. So I hope you watch it. And until next time, have a good day.